Well, good morning and welcome to this thought for St. Luke's Day from St. Clement's Church in Dartmouth. I wonder if you saw the recent headlines in the newspapers that went like this: fake news factories churning out lies about monkey vaccine. News of this kind doesn't inspire confidence, does it? Especially in light of the recent developments of localised lockdowns. There's no doubt that these are uncertain times, and many I've spoken to recently have described feeling a bit lost and at sea. Perhaps part of the problem is having to filter out what we hear in the news. Which account is true? Which scientific advice should we follow? At the end of the summer, we all basked in the good news that schools had returned, but now, with little hope of imminent change, many feel as if they've lost their bearings and are drifting a bit. Today, the Church remembers Luke the Evangelist. The Greek term from which we derive our word evangelist means bringer of good news. And Luke is keen right from the start of his Gospel to establish the truth of this good news. From his Gospel and the book of Acts, which he also wrote, as well as some of the writing of Paul, we're able to put together a picture of the person whose life and example we remember today. And one of the first things we discover about Luke is that he's a historian and his accounts are accurate. Right at the beginning of the Gospel, he says he decided, after investigating everything carefully from the very beginning, to write an orderly count. Not only is he very clear that Jesus was a historical figure, his writing has been praised for its accuracy. Readers familiar with the weather patterns of the Mediterranean have commented on the precision of the narrative in his account of the shipwreck in Acts 27. Luke probably accompanied Paul throughout the voyage, and so he could draw on this daily log of their progress. And no doubt the captain's log provided other key details. As any sailor will tell you, a ship's log is essential since it provides a record of the voyage from which the navigator can establish the ship's current position. And so for Luke, the historian, who cared about these details, it would have been of special interest. But not only was Luke a historian, he was a doctor. In his letter to the Colossians, Paul refers to Luke as his beloved physician. As a physician, he was trained to listen to people so that he could accurately diagnose their problem in order to prescribe the appropriate treatment. Rather like the navigator taking back bearings on distance, time and direction travelled in order to establish their current position so they could plot a course to steer ahead, so Luke's careful interest in the patient's history enabled him as doctor and healer to understand their present condition and concerns. Only then could he see a way forwards and prescribe treatment that would bring comfort and help their future recovery. So Luke was historian, healer, and helper. In today's reading from 2 Timothy chapter 4, Paul says that only Luke is still with him. Unlike many of Paul's other travelling companions, Luke is loyal to the last. And so it's these characteristics of historian, healer and helper that enables Luke the Evangelist to convey the good news of the gospel. As a historian, his interest and care about the past informs him as healer to understand the present concern, which allows him as helper to offer comfort and make for the future to be better. And so with the uncertainty surrounding our immediate future, it's more important than ever to understand and thank God for the care he's shown for us in Christ. Like the navigator taking back bearings in order to establish their current position, it's what informs our present concerns and puts them into perspective. Taking stock in this way gives us hope and comfort about an uncertain future, and it's this that helps us to live fully in the present. All of which provokes the inevitable question: have we established our current position in Christ?